There are issues like Terry Glenn where it is something like that is life and death and you need that type of support. But there are other issues when we just use that term, Gene, and it's not life and death as Gene Wojciechowski joins us, but rivalry can be very important to life.
You know, Reese, one of the great things about college football is that it brings families together, and sometimes it keeps them together even during their darkest hours. This is a story of one such family, of their many dark hours, and of a Michigan-Ohio State rivalry that has helped them see the light.
Are you going to tell Daddy about how much fun you had last night with your friends? Yeah.
Sometimes life gives you a change, and I'm not even a bit afraid. I'm not afraid.
Okay, relax. Relax that hand. There you go. Good job.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, what would be the number of the severity of his injury?
10. No question.
Hi, Daddy.
This is a good smile. I was kind of down talking to him, and he grabbed my hand and he pulled it up to his mouth like he was kissing it. And I think that was, for me, that was a good moment. Because he did it on his own and nobody told him to.
Anyone who knows Zach Lawrence knows he believes in unconditional love. Love for his family. And for Buckeyes football.
The day of the 2004 Ohio State-Michigan game, we were waiting to walk out the door and Zach dropped down to one knee and then he pulled out a ring and asked me a question, will you marry me? So.
His favorite game of the year?
Always Michigan. He doesn't like to say, the actual word. It's that team up north.
You weren't supposed to curse, but if you were cursing about Michigan, you were allowed to when you were little kids. That was actually encouraged in this family a little bit.
Zach, an investment manager and consultant, traveled to the Republic of Georgia earlier this spring to speak at an international conference. The day after his March 19th speech, Megan received a phone call from the U.S. Embassy.
She said he had been in an accident. And I do remember yelling, "What's wrong with my husband? Tell me what happened." It was probably the worst moment of my life. It was scary.
The 38-year-old Zach had been a passenger in a car that had veered into a 60-foot deep ravine. 2 other passengers died, and Zach suffered bone fractures, internal bleeding, and severe traumatic brain injury.
Zach, show me one finger.
You're trying, Zach.
I can tell you're trying. Just the one. Like you're pointing. Good.
He was eventually transported back to Columbus and Ohio State's Dodd Rehabilitation Hospital.
He was in what we call a coma state.
Do it again. Push it forward.
He started emerging and giving us more responses to the environment. And currently he's in what we call a minimally conscious state.
You're over top of it. Can you push it down?
Our next goal is to create a communication system.
Okay, a little bit more, okay?
Yes, no responses or hand gestures.
During those early months of rehab, physical therapists desperately searched for a way to break through to Zach.
The no is on your right, and it's red. The yes is on your left, and it's green. Show us you can hear us.
We were asking him questions with this button. Relax that elbow, honey.
They would ask him different questions, and he just wasn't moving his hand.
Megan said, well, maybe if you ask him a question he cares about.
Zach, do you like Michigan? Yes or no?
And he hit that red button as quickly as he could.
It was the first moment of hope. It was a beginning.
That was a good moment. I don't know how to describe it. He's in there.
Across.
It's a miracle he's alive. It's a miracle he survived. It's a miracle he made it back here. I don't think he's done left. I think he's got a few more miracles left in him.
I don't want to leave.
Maybe see him tomorrow, okay?
Two top 15 teams face it off, and off we go in Columbus.
It's been a big part of his life, and it was a big part of our relationship. Okay, game days were such a big deal for us, so it's nice to be able to share some of them. Touchdown, Buckeyes! Yay!
Yay! Go Buckeyes!
She really wants to make sure that Zach knows they're all there.
She's here all the time.
All the time.
We love him, and we're gonna be here for him no matter what. So he's our family.
As you can imagine, Zach's medical costs are staggering, which is why family and friends have established a fundraising effort. It's called Team Zach. And really, Megan says that his progress is measured in 16ths of inches. The hope is that eventually he recovers enough that he can return home and spend time with his family. But Reese, today, Michigan, Ohio State, the family will be together and they will be watching that game as a family.
Gene, as an example of the special bond created between the team and their fans, as we heard Zach's brother say in the piece, aligning with the side starts early. Can't start earlier than they did at the Wexner Hospital in Columbus this week. Every baby born this week wrapped in a scarlet blanket and had the M crossed out, beat Michigan on the date of the game. Gene, thank you for that piece. Just as we've been